You're such an asshole.
So I have a unique situation. A client of mine, a longtime client of mine, and it's been email exchange exclusively because he doesn't need to let the world know about his individual life. But he came across a problem that I've talked about a little bit here and there before that many people are going to increasingly come across as they get older and we don't have families. And especially my team, when you follow my advice, you're going to make quick work of the challenges and hurdles life puts in front of you. Then you're going to be like, well, now what? And I've been a little bit, this has been one of the bigger hurdles I've faced in my life. And so I figured I'd address this because he's not the only one. It's going to be an increasing phenomena. It is a problem, though it is a problem to have. This is a sign of success. Just like, yeah, you made it. Now what? And that is, what do you do with your life after you are done with all of your struggles, after you get there? Now, I'm not going to read verbatim his request, but he has gone from having a lot and serious, I wouldn't say problems, but challenges normally everybody has: career, education, finance. The girls are, in the case of the girls, the Geisa. And it was more career and all that, a little bit of life planning. And God, what has it been, man? 5 years, 4 years? It's been an interesting. I wish I could tell you this guy's details. This cat has an interesting background. But obviously we won't mention. But he's just an interesting guy. So he was struggling, um, career, location, a little bit of life planning, finances, and in a field or an environment that was very challenging, but also very rewarding. And after years of work, hard work on par with what I did back in the olden days, full time school, full time work. This guy was banging out 120 hours a week to the point it was affecting his health. And he just checked in. He's like, hey, this is what's going on in these different categories of my life. Anything, any problems, any opportunities, SWOT analysis, opportunities, threats, that kind of thing. And I'm looking at him like, no, it looks good. Everything's dialed in. He's got a good job. I could tell that he does van life. I'm not giving away the house with that. Got a great balance, goes to the gym, getting good amount of sleep. He's not doing those 120-hour work weeks anymore. Stable employment. And then the last question he had is, well, okay, now I got it down. He's like, is this it? Like, I'm kind of burnt out with the corporate life, the working life, which obviously after working years at 120 hours a week, you would be. And he's like, yeah, and he starts like thinking like a little bit of a change, like, oh man, I'm tired of this. Now he ain't working 120 hours a week. I think he's working 40, 50 remote. And kind of like the human condition, you're like, okay, now what? And what I'm trying to introduce to you guys, there is no now what. That was it. And part element of um like, I hate to say this, but you girls fall for this trap all the time. You think your job as a social worker is going to be great. No, it's just a regular job. All jobs become boring because it's rote rehearsal, it's common, and the novelty wears off. And I've spoke about this many times before, especially in the book How Not to Become a Millennial, what the purpose of a job is. A job is just to give you money so you go out and actually live life. That's what it is. It's a tool. We've convinced many young women today and some men that no, that's the point and purpose in life. Your point and purpose is to slave away and pay taxes and commute. And girls are like, yay! Don't fall in love with that guy over there. Raise your chin. No, don't do that. Yeah, go work more to buy a handbag. But more on a philosophical level, he's like, well, now what? I'm bored at work. Work sucks. It's like, yes, work sucks. It will suck. Right now, okay, admittedly, this isn't a real job, but I guess it's my job now. This is the easiest, funnest job. This is, I guess the only thing would be more fun is if you're Sterling Cooper, an actual porn star having sex with a girl, I guess. But I've even talked to him. I'm like, I bet you there's days you don't want to have sex. He's like, yeah. Yeah. And that's every porn star out there. It's a job. And you got to do it. And to address this individual's questions, his request, it's like, that's it, man. You just work that job and you make your money and then you live outside of life. That's like the required entry fee to life. You got to work that job. And there's no, too bad you're tired. You know what I want to do today? I want to go for a hike. I want to go to the gym. I don't want to do consulting. It nowhere near as like doing taxes or doing credit analysis, but it's still kind of a job in a certain way. And so for my individual client, and for those of you who you get your master's degree, you do this, you do that, you get the job, you're like, hey, I've worked this for a couple of years. It's kind of boring. Like, yeah, that's every job. And to try to find a job that is rewarding or intellectually stimulating just doesn't happen. I mean, it happens, but it's exceptionally rare. It's like winning the lottery. Know the role that a job plays in your life. It is to allow you to go and live life. That is not its life itself. And so you might as well clock out. I'm not saying mentally and not do your job. I mean, focus and pay attention. But existentially, philosophically, where's my going? Why isn't my career? You aren't She-Hulk. Your career isn't your job, your life. And so that addresses his concern about the role a career should play. But what he is hitting on is many other people. The main point I want to do with this is, what do you do in life after the struggle? And so let's explain the struggle. This is very important so you understand the battlefield. We're not just going to send you as like World War I guys. Go to the trench, run that when you get mowed down by German machine guns with no idea what's going on. I'm going to give you the layout of the field. Going to lay out of the battlefield, tell you what's going on. In the olden times, there's always been struggle in life. And I'm not talking average hurdles, but there's always been a main hurdle or a struggle. And it is only until very recently have we been able to get over it and get to this cruising altitude, this cruising speed, this post-struggle life. And what kept most people in the struggle was hunger. To work up enough food so that you wouldn't starve. And the vast majority of human existence on this planet, going back to the 100,000, 200,000 years, whenever you want to consider Homo sapiens came around, this retirement thing, that is a blip of this is like a second, the most recent second of human existence where you could reach a point, you've accumulated enough wealth, you didn't have to work for the next 15, 20, 30 years. Heck, Social Security was set higher. The retirement age was set higher than the life expectancy at that time. Like, well, you made it past yeah, okay, here's a couple bucks. Now, because boomers like, oh my God, we live to 90, but I want to retire early at 62. Or if you're a government worker, what is it, 35, 40? Not kidding, it's 55. All right, so the struggle, though, that kept for most of your human biological programming up here, that's been, I got to work to survive and make up the food and maybe get some clothing and shelter along the way too. But it was predominantly food. And you never left the struggle. Matter of fact, people didn't even think about retiring. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. You could conceive of it theoretically, could conceptualize it. Perhaps you knew the king or the prince or the dukes or the other things that the British people named their snotty people. They didn't have, they just had to fight war and worry about the brother stabbing them in the back. But most of human existence has just been struggle and then you die. You work till you were dead. Now that sounds bad, and it is, and it's not ideal, and it's not. But that is what your hindbrain, we are used to. You are always used to a struggle. And even in modern days, you still had to work most of your life to get to retirement. And we kind of see this conflict between what the human brain is conditioned for versus the environment that is more modernly in the modern day retirement in the West, where you get these dudes and they retire and they drop dead 6 months to 2 years later because they got nothing else to do. And so that predominantly a younger audience, but that's coming. That's coming. This is why me and many, I'm not the only one, me and every guy in the red pill, like, you never retire. You never, especially if you're a guy. Girls can, like, I don't know, sit and watch television all day. They're different breed, different brain. Yes, you girls are different. You are not men. No, you are not. Have fun trying to be. But for you guys out there, that that's your operating system. That is not going away. And so when you retire, you could do something else that's more fun. Work at the golf shop. I know a couple of retired guys that do it. Work at the cigar lounge. They need something to do, but you never stop doing something. You never actually retire, because retirement is death. And you are not hardwired or conditioned to handle life without some form of struggle. Now, like I said before, in the before time, the struggle was food. I gotta get enough food. That was it. Technology has eliminated that. And I'm not joking. Like Jacob Lundfisk, if you want, read Early Retirement Extreme, the FIRE principle. I just talked to this kid who beat my ass on a hike. He is not even 30. He has a house cash, makes good money. He is not looking, ladies, terribly. And you girls wouldn't like him because he's like 5'11" and a half. He's just, and he doesn't have a nice car and all of that. Anyway, if you were to do it correctly, if you were to like empirically look at what the options are, and like, I want to retire early and go do a job. You're all going to do a job. Everyone on my team's doing a job. We're all doing a job. It's just, you want to do the job you like doing. You could probably do it at about 30, 35 if you play your cards right. And this kid did. Military, saved up his money. No kids, no wife. He's not going to have them. Makes things a lot easier for the guys anyway. So you could eliminate that struggle to like a couple decades of work. Yeah, like what, 22 years of work? 18, no, not 12 years of work. 18 to 30. Yeah, 12 years of work. You could do it. You got to be a minimalist. That's the number one thing you can do to set yourself free so you're not employed by anyone. And link down below is a link to my Achieving Minimalism course. That's open for enrollment until the 7th. Don't wait. Sign up for it now. But it's $500. Shut up and just trust me on it. Yeah, just give me $500, which I understand. But the point I'm saying is, there is no longer a hunger struggle. What is life struggle? If you really played your cards straight, the struggle is no more hunger. But then you're saying like, well, wait a minute. How boomers had same technology, relatively speaking. How come like 2/3 of them don't have the money saved up for retirement? How come every millennial and Zoomer can't afford rent, which is also part due to monetary policy, not even necessarily their own fault. But you're like, wait a minute, why is there still a struggle? Because you say, well, wait, we got rid of the struggle, so life should be great now, right? There's no more life struggle, right? Yet people are still struggling. Student loan crisis, can't afford rent, antidepressant use going up, boppity-bop. There's still right. You're not. Are you independently wealthy? I'd argue the minimalism thing again, but I'm not going to hit on that. What are you struggling against? Why did this guy have to struggle? He played his cards kind of right early on. And here is what the modern day struggle in life is. You are overcoming lies. And I don't mean that in a hippy dippy Buddhist, yeah, man, it's corporations, Alex Jones type of thing. I guess a better way to describe it would be misinformation. You are given the wrong information about how to spend and invest the majority of your youth and your time up front, which pretty much ultimately determines and sets the course for the rest of your life. If you're 65, like, I decide I'm going to go to college, and you major in, I don't know, what's a ridiculously stupid degree, political science, it's not going to matter. Just as if majoring in engineering at 65, I mean, yeah, maybe you'll make a little bit more money in the next 15 years, but not really going to matter. But if, and you millennials tell me if I'm wrong here, okay? If you were lied to, maliciously or not, certainly misinformed, you're given the wrong information, You then spent what, 4 years of your youth, $200,000 on a degree that simply will not get you a job or recoup your lost 4 years of time and the $200,000. And that's just student loans and majoring, what should I study? If you look at the advice all the adults gave you in your life, it is at best misinformation, the wrong information. At worst, which I'm more leaning toward, outright malicious lies. I don't think your parents maliciously lied to you. Your teachers absolutely did. Your professors sure the hell did. The media and the corporate advertising, they absolutely do. Perhaps if you want to look at the absolute worst lie we tell people, and you could see how it destroys their lives, what misinformation does to them, is probably, this is in like the past 10 years, we have convinced not most, yeah, I'll say most, you guys are that dumb. We've convinced most Americans that the traits they were born with is the most important thing in their lives, whether that's your skin color, your gender, your ethnicity, perhaps your religion, more modernly, your sexual preference, and to make sure everyone can participate in the victimhood narrative, is mental disorders you may or may not have. At the great insult to those that genuinely do have mental problems. And if you go up, and the epitomal example of this would be women's studies, or I guess ethnic studies too, African American studies or Chicano American study, whatever, where type A or type B human studies. You're studying yourself. How does this, okay, go read about feminist theory or the history of African Americans or the Chicano. Go to the library and read it. Don't spend 4 years of your youth and $75,000 on it, though. And certainly do not put your entire life value on the fact. Think about how ridiculous this. We're just going to flip the script, okay? How ridiculous does it sound like? I'm Aaron Clary, and I'm going to celebrate being a brown-eyed person. Brown-eyed people power. How dumb and stupid is that? Now, if I actually go out into the world saying, I got brown eyes, you should respect me and my people. You got brown eyes, so what? I'm kind of upset I didn't get the blue eyes that everyone else, presumably in my family, got. I'm an oppressed class with my brown eyes. But you can see where it's like, I'm left-handed. I'm not left-handed. Let's say I was left-handed. I'm left-handed. I'm web feet. And I am entitled to this, the number one thing in my life. And I'm going to study it and try and make a career out of it. You are going to fail. Not only are you going to fail financially, you're going to fail psychologically. You don't look at yourself as a person. You don't look at like what's up here, your thoughts or your interactions or the relationships you form with people or what you do for society. It's like, nope, I got a peen or I got a hoo-ha. I'm a man. Oh, have we heard that before? There was a poster at a Seattle school. What was it? Women are gods? No, you're just women. Sorry. I like women, don't get me wrong, but you're not gods. You're not amazing. You're just half the population. And so, that's just like two major lies: what to study and what to value your life off of. We lie. A third, I'd rank it up there. The third biggest thing is materialism. You got to have the handbags. You got to have the Dodge double wide duty doubled who dang diggly truck nuts pickup truck with your $1,100 a month payment. I don't know. I don't think girls go as much for the vehicles, but you have to have your Range Rover so you can keep up with Becky at the nail salon. You have to have the McMansion. This is where the minimalism course would play a huge role. But there's another thing where you are misinformed about what is important in society. You're told things and stuff. You're told status. I mean, all you morons that buy, I didn't know that Kim Kardashian, I don't know anything about Kim Kardashian. I guess she has a brand of clothes. You all pay for that. Why? What's wrong with you people? You all have to go to some prestigious liberal arts college. Why? What are you doing? And so the point there is you all become debt slaves. So you don't even have the option. See, let me pose to my client who asked the question, like, dude, you're worried, like, well, what do I do now? The struggle is over. I got over all the lies. And I'm not saying he's sad, but it's like, is this my life? It's like, hey, you want to compare yourself to every guy or gal your age equivalent who's crippled in debt and they don't even have the options that you do now on your table because you played your cards right? And so most people, I hate I hate to toot my own horn, but we always do the funny, haha. Aaron Clare's an arrogant, cocky prick, and I am. But as a little bit of tongue in cheek. But in dead seriousness, if you just followed what I said, if you just listen, this kid that I went hiking with the other day, he listened to the books I did, read them. I've had clients come back, oh yeah, thanks for changing me from a journalism major to a civil engineer or whatever. They're making all this money. I'm good. If you listen to me, you're not going to have that struggle. You're not going to have that lying struggle because very simply, whether it's the books, the consultation, the minimalism course I have there, it's all based in truth and reality. It's not misinformation, and it certainly isn't lies. That's why women get so pissed off. I say, you want to close the wage gap? Major in engineering, super hypersonic. Ooh, she came in fast on that one. And so, aside from the few people, think about how rare it is for a girl like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't major in journalism. You're right. I'm going to empirically, and you're right. If I want to fall in love and find a good looking guy, I got to be thin and get in shape. What is that? 1 in 1,000? 1 in 10,000 women? The same thing for you guys. Oh man, if I got to get a girl, I got to hit the gym and be in shape. How many of you are like, oh, but I'm going to be an ally and be the sweet, nice guy. And oh, look, I love Christian men. Oh, I'm not going to think or go to the gym. No, the Bible tells me what to do. Just have faith in Christ and be a good man. Okay, as long as I don't have to go to the gym. That's how rare it is for people to not believe the lies, not believe the misinformation. It's outright propaganda as well, and therefore not have the struggle in life. Now, there's always the struggle, and I guess the great way of putting it, as it pertains to the kid I went hiking with, he didn't believe the lies. And so the struggle has now gone from, dude, where's the food? We just got to work until we died so we get the food, to technology has eliminated the need of food, but we have lied to everybody what's important to life, to now, what do I just need to get by and survive and ignore, I got to wear the brand name clothes. That's Gen X. Well, I got to get the car or the truck. Whatever I just need to get by. And you eliminate life struggle. So life struggle is whittled down to what it has to be, almost on a physical level, like caloric intake. What do I got to do? Well, I got to do this stuff here, not piss away my money. And then my life struggle is a 12-year working process to pay off a house, maybe join the military, whatever. And now I get to do whatever I want. And because most of human existence has never known retirement, and even if we've in a post-subsistence living, like that first stage of struggle, survival, now it's overcoming lies. That is all of human existence. Even if you got the food, clothing, and shelter, the vast majority of people still fall for the lies. All right. And so there still is this struggle. So what I'm trying to say here is whether modernly you're struggling against lies or in the past you're struggling against hunger and nature, humans never really got to the point of genuine, legit retirement. Never. Only a very few exceptional people did. You could argue World War II generation of the boomers, some of them, like only a third of boomers got enough money to retire. So even the majority of them don't know a life without struggle. But if you play your cards right, do what I freaking tell you and take the freaking class below or read my books. I don't care. I mean, you don't even need me. Does it sound nice? Then it's a lie. Does it sound hard? That's probably the truth. There's a general rule you could follow. You, my client, and many other people who play the cards right, you're going to get into what this post-struggle life. You're like, what do I do? What do I do now? And my client here is not the only one. I've had a handful of young men, predominantly. No, I think solely. I can't remember a girl's like, oh, I majored in engineering, but they come in like, oh, I majored in computer science, and I whatever. I lived at home and saved my money and moved out and bought a house for cash at 25. I got a condo in a different country, doing this and that. What do I do now? I'm like, that's it. I don't know. I just recently got to this point. Okay. I don't have a ton of money, but I mean, recently meaning, oh, what would you say? Maybe 10 years ago. Asshole Consulting's coming up on 9 years old, where I could remotely work if I wanted. Let's call it. Let's say 8 years. Okay, dude, I struggle with that every day. The same. What do we do? Gee, brain, what do we do tonight? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to figure out what to do. But because maybe perhaps I have my economics background, I never was under the delusion, and perhaps working in banking, knowing that all bosses are cocksuckers. Need to be strung to railroad tracks in banking. I didn't have the delusion that work was somehow my value and purpose in life. And this is, I would say, not for our generation, because look at your generation. I don't care what generation you're in. Any generation in America alive today, from Alpha, although they're your kids, so not where Zoomers to baby boomers. None of you, the vast majority of you aren't like, gee, I played my cards right, majored in engineering, worked hard, and spent very little money. And now I'm going to retire fully at 40. What do I do in life? They're not there. My generation is the perfect example of the ultimate materialists. Heck, American Beauty came out when we were in our young 20s, mid-20s maybe. Not a single Gen Xer took a lesson from that movie. They're now the modern day Joneses with their SUVs and their McMansions, and wifey poo needs countertops of this thing this week. They're enslaved. They're debt slaves. They're finally maybe paying off their student loans. They're not going to retire. They're still struggling. They're in the life of the struggle against lies. But for the minority of people, regardless of your age, but I'm aiming to the younger people because you're the ones who can avoid making these life-destroying mistakes, do know at a point in time, the struggle will be over. And you won't know what to do because most humans have never been here. We haven't. And so, like you, maybe I'm a mile further down the path than you, but I did not find a destination. And I don't think there is an answer. This is where maybe you got, I don't know, Alan Watts or people who are way more down the road, philosophers older than me who walk the path. But I can tell you this as an economist, this is it. And the guy's like, okay, I did all this. Now what? Now you get to do what you want. Now, for his individual specific case, so I answer your question to my client, I would learn Spanish, become fluent in it, because he wants to do things in Spanish countries. And so there's your purpose for the next year. And that will open up doors and opportunities to go to the Spanish-speaking countries you'd like to do the thing that you would like to do. So that's what you do, right? But there is no more, I'm bored with work. No. You're looking for reason and purpose where it's not to be found. That not in your career. That is the job you work. But otherwise, if I look at his life and many other young and not so young men's lives, it's like, well, now you're done. You've built your house. What do I do now? Well, now you go have fun. How do I do that? That's a great question. The vast majority of human existence has not been about, well, how do I go have fun? And for those that like live off of welfare and don't work, all right, or live off your parents or whatever, for my team, if you look at them, all they do is become debauched. They just follow the 7 deadly sins. They get gluttonous. They drink. They do drugs. They get on Adderall. They're depressed, whatever. They play video games, and they order their chicken tendies through Uber Eats. You're not alive. That's a life of misery and pain. And so this is where it's the rock of Sisyphus. The guy keeps pushing up the rock. That seems like a hellish existence. Like, well, at least he's got a rock to push up that hill. And I hate to give compliments, but you want to see someone who really pushes a lot of rocks up a hill? Rollo Tomasi. That guy is like 75 years old, and he's in a band. He's got a family. He does a ton of videos. He writes books all the time. He's flying all over the place. And you could say, man, that's a lot of work, right? But at least he's not letting his life waste away. He's not playing video games, jerking off to the prawn. I'd be like, man, I'd like to calm down. I like, well, even I'm like, he's like, I'm going to Miami again. I'm like, you were there yesterday. Yeah, but I just like flying on the planes back and forth. What else is a 78-year-old man supposed to do? But that's a guy who has purpose and reason and agency in life. Perhaps he even goes to the gym. Like, oh my God, like when you get some time, and there, somewhere in there is your life. Perhaps not 120% like Tomasi. Certainly not sitting on welfare. I mean, you could argue the same thing. Like, you got all the money in the world through your own hard work. You're not on welfare, but then you decide to like watch TV and play video games, eating chicken tendies. It's still the same miserable life. But you got to go and figure out something to do. And so I guess you could say your struggle, life struggle after the lie struggle, which everyone, by the way, everyone has to overcome that struggle. That's a struggle everyone is facing in the Western world. The lies the adults tell you. That's it. You overcome that. There's not really a struggle anymore. Right? But there is this like, God. I mean, I was talking to the kid yesterday. He's not even 30, to be perfectly honest. He's like, I got to figure out what to do. I'm like, for 50 years, maybe even 60 years. Better than being poor, better than having no money, better than depending on the Democrats to hopefully vote in more UBI. But that's what you got. Now, I can't tell you what that is. I can't. Everybody is different. Some people just like chilling out and reading. Some people, Tomasi has to have his hands in everything doing something. I'm in the middle. I'm not going to go 120% like Rollo, but, I'll write some books, whether or not I need to or not. I'm going to do asshole consulting, get up and do the gym. I have probably 105%. Right? But I'm going to do something. But what should you do? What in general policy? It's whatever you want. Now, in specifics to my client, learn Spanish. But then the other thing is, one, do whatever you want. But I'll tell you, this is one thing I can tell you to do. Don't worry about this existential question. You got to calm down and almost turn off your genetics that are screaming at you to do something, especially the guys. Because a lot of guys, you go through this. Now, this guy has gone through a struggle. He's closer to my age. He was lied to about degree choice and everything else. And his employers, oh my God, his employers are scum. His employers are scum. Lying scum. But they're lies. That's the struggle. Now he's overcome that. Now he knows. Now he's stable. Personal finance. Right? But you're so conditioned to it. I got another buddy, Iraq vet, battle. He's been in battles. And I'm like, does it ever turn off? He's like, no, it never turns off. There's this piece of you, like, there's a sniper up there. What's around this corner? Like, you're in the suburbs, man. And you laugh at it, but you weren't in bed. Like, you can't turn it off. And you can't turn off something that has been part of the human conditioning and programming and genetic hardwiring for all of human existence. But you got to at least get it under control and not worry about, like, what do I do? What do I do? Push a rock up a hill, whatever version of that it is, you got to do that. I have said it before, though. This is a sad irony. Even if you got to the stage of stability, whether it was post-scarce resources and food, or you had a good father who raised you and you didn't believe the lies and you did the right thing and you had the stability, and you came to this point like, well, what do I do now? In the past, you always had something that was your family. You would have children, you'd have a spouse, take care of them, that kind of thing. Obviously, that is not the case. And so I did write a book, which is the only other link down below, called The Menu: Life Without the Opposite Sex. I am not linking it down below so I can make a sale or 2 or 5 or 1,000. I'm doing it because of that reason And because this is a problem an increasing percentage of people are going to face. Half the girls don't want to, are forecasted not to get married, 45% by 2030. I could understand where most of you men wouldn't want to get married for legal reasons today. But most people, not most, half, they're forecasting, a little bit under half, are not getting married. A lot of you are not going to have kids. And so without that default purpose and reason and existence in life, young people today, especially the young people, you're going to face this problem as well. So if you play your cards right and you overcome the struggle of lies and early on, you're going to be in the situation that my client here, the kid I went hiking with, are both in like, well, what the hell do I do for the next 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60 years of my life? Again, I don't have the answer except for it's up to you, and don't fret about it. Try not to worry about it. You still got to satiate it, though. You still got to do something. You can't be the Yang Gang, Joe Biden, Democrat stooge, begging for a student loan bailout, horking down Adderall and fast food that you ordered with EBT living at home. You can't have that life. That's a miserable. I know I get people like, I can't believe this person who's on welfare is doing this thing. I'm like, did it ever dawn on you to look at that person's life? I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm like, look at their life. Someone sent me an article about a single mom that's having troubles in a leftist crap hole. And I just emailed them back. I'm like, yeah, but you got to do all these really fun things, and you got a motorcycle, and you get to shoot guns. That woman, her life was never to begin with. I can't even say her life is over. Her life never began, never got off the ground. Just this generational welfare parasite who, oh, wow, you did the thing. The article was, bad thing happens to this particular single mom. And you're like, but if single mom, not single mom, had made other decisions, this bad thing would not have happened to her. So 0 F's given there. I said, do you want that life? Do you want that? They're not living. You don't want that life. So you got to figure out something productive to do. All right. And the best I could come up with was this book, or essay, I guess, more so, called The Menu: Life Without the Opposite Sex. It goes through everything I could possibly figure out for you to do, a literal menu to not only have things for you to do, but some that would give you purpose and reason beyond just, oh, I like to travel. I'm a foodie. Okay. More than just merely playing video games. Is it going to replace a husband and wife family? No, of course not. Of course not. That's off the table. It's off the table for half of you. Mark my words. Just watch. What's funny is the rate of marriage is declining even faster when Morgan Stanley came up with that. It's like, oh, man. It's easily going to be more than half by 2030. All right? So for those of you who are past life struggles, the number one solution, I'd say, if we want to, like, yeah, get married, have kids. Well, don't get married, have kids, have a family. Get a committed person. Get a committed spouse. We do have the occasional females here that tune in. I would get committed, not to an institution, to a person. Because like, but I want to get married. No. You talk to your foremothers, your feminist foremothers that made it a unacceptable proposition to men. You can have a relationship. You don't get the wedding ring. By the way, guys, if you do anything like have a wedding ceremony or put a ring on the girl's finger or present yourself as husband and wife, even though you don't have a marriage license, you never got married, even in some states that aren't common law, sometimes, oh, well, yeah, you're married. So like, no, sorry, lady. What do you mean you don't want to drink from the punch bowl? Well, because you took a big old deuce in it. But no. You took a big old, I didn't take a deuce. Okay, your mom did, and you're listening to your mom. I'm not drinking from the punch bowl of crap. But maybe you won't get fecal material. Yeah, maybe I won't. All right. But I would say, find some other people, try to form a family. If you girls agree to not make it so risky. And in fairness to the ladies, if you boys could ever muster up to get your financial act together and be a responsible, reliable man who's capable of fixing a house. I know, ladies. I've seen the men that you're forced to date because you voted for you voted Democrat and put life on easy mode for these men. Like, why are they such pussies? I have no idea. Did you vote to give them free money? Because they're for the little people. Hey, if you're for the little people, ladies, you're going to get little people when it comes to your dating pool. All right? Oh, really? Madison, that's a girl's name. Tanner, the Zoomer Wonder Boy with his master's degree in music therapy. Oh, really? He's not cutting it for you financially, huh? Well, at least you voted for the D, right? He voted for D, you'd voted for D, but you ain't getting no real D. Debatable whether your girls like D or not. Oh, shame. All right, we're going off topic here. So there's that. If you can get it. Given women's general disinterest in getting married, I mean, and then given the financial and legal risk that makes it unpalatable, impossible, untenable for men, marriage will not be happening. And women just, commitment or not, women just aren't, unless you're Ryan Reynolds, they're not really interested all that much. You got to be a top 10% guy. So for the majority of you, even good-looking people and women too, ladies, you don't want to get, okay, it's not going to be, did you see She-Hulk? Did She-Hulk find a guy in the end? I wonder if the writers are all spoken for either. Anyway, you're not going to have guys. So what do? There's the menu. Life without the opposite sex. Now, in my client-specific case, I'd recommend this for all men. I would start looking into philosophy and potentially religion. I wish I could be religious. I just can't. No religion has pointed to me and said, convinced me of like, yeah, our guy in the sky is the right one. That being said, pretty much all religions, I mean, they all have things you probably don't like, but there's usually something you'll find in religions that you will like and are useful and are helpful. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like R.C. Sproul, listen to R.C. Sproul on the internet. He's dead now, but you can listen to that. I mean, some good Christian philosophy. And that's probably a way to look at it. Muslim philosophy, Jewish philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, but really more into the realm of philosophy. But then also other like philosophies like Stoicism. Get into Schopenhauer. Alan Watts slightly starting to go into that realm. Learn from the guys that came before us that traveled down this path before and reported their findings. I don't like Nietzsche. I just don't like Nietzsche. Like, oh, you must like Nietzsche. No, I actually don't. I'll take Schopenhauer any day. And it's not going to be what you want, but I've found great solace and benefit from consuming vast amounts of philosophical pop. Stefan Molyneux is a great one, even though when he has Let's Talk Philosophy, and he gets these spurgs on that, if a tree falls in the forest, how many pine cones, fart out an ant? And he takes them seriously. So, that's what I'd recommend. But there's a ton of other stuff in that book that's for you there. And ladies, there's in the menu for the handful of women that are reading it. If you are empirical, if you are serious about contentment, there's no such thing as happiness, only contentment. I'd recommend you get the menu and you read not only the shareables, it is listed like a menu. There's appetizers and shareables, right? That's for both men and women. Then there's a men's menu, then there's a woman's menu, because men and women are different. If you are empirical, if you want contentment, if you want peace, if you want satisfaction, read and do what is in the men's menu. If you want to be comforted, if you want to feel good, if you want to be abdicated of any responsibility, read the women's menu, right? But they're two different aims, two completely different aims. But beyond that, beyond what everything, I got nothing, man. I'm in the same boat as you. I just happen to be up front, whatever, aft, stern. I don't know what that is. I'm up front. I'm like, oh, here comes an iceberg. Is that an iceberg? Yes, it is. If you see me, and you know what? Maybe there is an advantage of that, because I'd be like, oh crap, that's an iceberg, and I'm the first one in the life raft. Is that a housing market coming? Oh crap, where's he going? I don't know. He's getting in a life raft. Crazy economist thinking we're gonna hit an iceberg. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I got to take this. That was an important call. I had to take it. They actually found an inspector. Oh my God. So anyway, that's all I had to say. Let's go quickly through the super chats if there are any. Well, 97. There's only 97 people. What happened? Am I even live? Holy cow. What day is it? It's a job. Taekwondo. €2. Victory always defeats you at the end. Old tale. Oh, good. Yeah. Where's that come from, Juan? 1042? Please tell me. Please tell me I'm live. Please tell me I'm live. Oh, all right. There we go. We'll see you guys later. Toodles. Did your internet go off? Hey, what's up? You let the freaking video running, you dumbass. I know, but am I still live right now? Oh, it connected again. Yeah, okay, now I'm back. I'll try and end it. Thanks, Atham. All right, bye. I hate the internet. I'm trying to end it. You don't have internet connection. It says I don't have internet connection. My God, no internet. It says I don't have internet. I'm gonna find a hut. It's not letting me in. Am I still on? See, I can see it on my phone. I can see it on my freaking phone. It's not a geriatric moment. It's not me. Hang on. Honest to God.